Thank you for joining us for live paranormal radio. From the paranormal to the unexplained, it all happens here. It all happens here. Looking to enhance your radio experience? Participate in our live video chat 24/7 with our live paranormal radio show hosts and other like-minded people. Live. Paranormal.com, the only interactive social chat room supported by Full Interaction Media. Stop by now and join the fun. Stop by now and join the fun.
Today we have Golden State Haunts and Valley Investigators of the Paranormal lead investigator Erik Vanlier on air today. Everyone visit goldenstatehaunts.org, valleyinvestigatorsofthe.paranormal.org, Twitter, Instagram at GSHauntsEvents, at SFB Paranormal, at VIP Paranormal, and YouTube search Creepy AF. Let's bring Erik into the show.
Okay, let's see, Peter.
Talk to me.
Okay, thank you, Peter. And do you have a message for Erik too, Peter?
We're here with love and light for you.
Oh, that's fantastic. Erik, Peter, he's here with love and light for you. Thanks for coming on today.
Yes, thank you for having me. I cannot believe that Sophia is 19 now and that this is her 7th year broadcasting. Unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming
Amazing.
on today. It's great having you on.
Yeah, so we recently saw each other on the Queen Mary. That was pretty good times. That's one of the places I used to investigate a lot with Rob Rodowski.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
I actually haven't, as far as investigating, I actually haven't been up too much lately on that side other than, when we were at the Queen Mary and then I had my public event at the Mystic Museum in North Hollywood. However, I just stayed at a hotel out in Santa Clarita, and Santa Clarita itself is a, pretty new area for anyone that doesn't know it. It's like Irvine. It's one of the newer, cities in Southern California. So there's not a ton of history. There is Mentryville there, the first oil town, but it's not as old as some of the other towns, out down here. And the hotel I was staying at itself is rather new. It's a very nice hotel. I was staying in a suite, actually, a really nice room. And this is on the 6th floor at about, 3 a.m., the witching hour, of course. I started hearing voices. The window was open, but first of all, this didn't sound like a normal voice. It sounded more robotic, so to speak. And, doing this for so many years, I know the different sound intonations and the different sound frequencies, and this didn't sound like it was coming from the street below. It didn't sound like a whisper. It sounded like a regular voice. It didn't sound like it was losing frequency, from being 6 floors up. So that was kind of interesting. I ignored it, but then twice in the night, I just felt this really, really dark presence that woke me up. And I've had, both the quote-unquote old cat syndrome where they say that, something demonic or, a shadow person or an old lady is, on top of you, smothering you. And I've had sleep paralysis. This was neither.
Oh, wow.
It was a very, very hard experience to describe. The only thing similar to both of those, the old hag syndrome and sleep paralysis, that I experienced was I remember myself trying to yell and I couldn't because it was just so terrifying. And, finally, it came out. I was able to vocalize this yell, but to myself, at least, it didn't seem loud. It was like I was yelling, but it was very quiet. And it was one of the more terrifying experiences I've had in a while. And I haven't stayed at this hotel for maybe a year or two. And when I was there last, I had another paranormal experience. It wasn't anything major, but I'd asked them if anybody had died in the hotel, and they had no knowledge of that. On this recent trip, the next morning, I didn't know this, but I went to the front desk and I started talking to them. And the one thing that I did find interesting is that they had been currently renovating the entire hotel. And when renovation happens, that could stir up paranormal activity. So although it would not be physically located to the hotel, they could have stirred something up that was on the land where the hotel was. And now when I say that this is new land, I don't mean, the land itself is new. Santa Clarita actually is pretty old. But like Irvine, it's new. I guess the last 20, 30 years is when it really started booming as far as development.
That's definitely amazing that happened to you. And I know earlier you were talking about the Queen Mary, and recently they opened up and renovated B340 aboard the ship. Have you had a chance to stay in B340 since it's been open? And if so, what were your personal experiences?
No, I haven't actually stayed in the room. Did go to B340 for media night, however, and there's a lot of mixed, I know a lot of people investigating the Queen Mary for a very long time. A large majority believe that B340 is not more than urban legend and myth, to draw traffic. The ship, of course, is very hot. A lot of experiences there. But
yeah, for sure.
A lot of controversy with that specific room. And when I was there, I don't know if it was because there were so many actions in the room at one time. I mean, I did feel a little for a moment, a brief moment. I think it's probably more psychomatic. But there were people headache, nausea. A guy that was talking about the room, the employee of Mary was, every time in there, vertical, in there. But I don't know if there were so many people there, but I didn't feel
Yeah, Erik,
I know definitely the whole...
Yeah, it seems like your connection's breaking up just slightly, too. Are you on Skype
better?
Or? Yeah.
I'm on my cell phone. Is this better? Okay.
Yeah, better.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely the whole ship is very haunted, though. So pretty much any room on the ship, you'll get activity. Some are more haunted than others, but, there's so much activity all around at the Queen Mary.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, on an old YouTube channel, a pretty well-known video with Robert Rodowski, I believe Nicole Strickland was there, and a few other people. I believe Gerald Reynolds was there, rest in peace.
Yeah.
And we were doing Morse code, and we had probably about a 5 or 6 minute straight K2 session that was, seemed to respond to what we were doing. And then on other occasions, I've had, I've been touched by Jackie. I was in the boiler room and was pushed down the stairs by Sarah. Before Dark Harbor became Dark Harbor, it used to be called Shipwreck, actually. That's their Halloween event.
Mm-hmm.
And I was with an ex-girlfriend in the part of the ship that used to be the hospital, going through one of the mazes. And during the walkthrough, an apparition, it felt, that part of the ship sometimes feels creepy. A lot of the times I'll go through these mazes myself because I'm filming or whatever, for YouTube or whatever it is. But this was before I started doing that, and I was with my ex-girlfriend, and an apparition in that area actually walked through me, and she saw this thing turn the corner before it happened. And, it was obviously a very creepy experience. It scared the heck out of her because she said that at the time she was Wiccan or whatever, and she had these abilities. I don't know if it was true, but she did experience something that night because I could tell by her reaction. But that was just, one of many notable experiences I've had on the ship.
Wow.
And if I may, I'd like to segue talking about Gerald Reynolds, rest in peace. There was actually another person I found out yesterday. One of the first people I ever saw a full-body apparition with, Crystal McCoy Ketchum. I found out yesterday that she passed away. And she was actually, she was younger than me. She was younger than me. And I know she was going through some hard times, but myself, her, and Corey Kaplinger were at Hillside Cemetery in Redlands on this one road called Apparition Alley because they've seen so many entities there. And this mist started rising from the ground, and it got bigger and bigger, and then it started, growing, and it turned into like, this 6 or 8 foot tall person, a man. You could tell it was a man. And this thing started chasing us out of the cemetery. And I remember, I was new. I didn't know as much about the paranormal as I do now, but I knew about fear and all that. And I remember telling them, don't run. This thing was chasing us out. I said, don't run. This is just like a dog. If you run, they're going to smell fear. And this thing actually followed us for quite a way, almost to the gates of the cemetery from where this one road is. And, this was one of my first and one of my scariest experiences to date. And like I said, that was me, Crystal, and Corey, and I just found out yesterday through an Instagram post that she had passed away.
Well, definitely, rest in peace to Jerry and Crystal. Very tragic losses in the field. But they, have known Jerry for so many years, so it was really shocking to hear that, and definitely great losses to the field and just in general.
Wow.
Yeah, as you guys both know, I'm an empath, and I'm sitting here in my house, and my left arm is warm. My right arm is freezing cold with the goosebumps and hair standing up.
Yeah.
Par for the course.
I know you kind of got that too with Peter's jacket on the ship.
Yes, that was amazing, and I want to thank you guys again for letting me put that on. I was there we were all there for Rob Hernandez's birthday, and I hadn't gotten much sleep. I had actually, I think this was the second night, and I was staying there 2 nights. The first night I actually left because it was so cold in the room. I just, we went to sleep, I guess, 2, 3 o'clock, and I left a few hours later because it was so cold. And I wasn't feeling good the next day. And, I hadn't gotten much sleep. I was a little bit down, and John let me try on the jacket, and it was, it was like that thing, the iron mask they used to use in England where they would put you in that iron mask with the spikes, and it would, trap your head. This probably isn't the best analogy, but it was like that. I put this thing on, and it just, trapped me, but it was in a positive way, It was like, it was tight, it was snug. It was like this thing just you see in these Iron Man, you put on these robot suits, and they just, conform to your body. And that's what this jacket did. It just, it was like, for lack of a better term, it's like it like snapped onto my body, and I could definitely feel the energy. And it was very comforting. It was very warm, and it was as if Peter was there, giving me a hug, and making me feel better.
Yeah, just energy. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely an amazing night on the ship, and such a great party for Rob. So we'll definitely have to do something like that again with everyone on the ship. Yeah,
definitely. That's something we definitely have to plan out. It's one of my favorite places. But other than that,
for sure.
Yeah.
But
and I know you guys have been
Eric,
there, many years.
Yeah, we definitely have been. It is the first place I ever investigated. So there's so much history with that ship, in general, paranormal-wise, and just with personally.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I know that you investigate with both Golden State Haunts and Valley Investigators of the Paranormal. Can you tell us a little bit about both teams and who the members are?
Yes, it's actually quite. I don't know if funny is the right word, but okay. So I started Valley Investigators of the Paranormal. That was my original group. This was after I had taken a hiatus from the paranormal, and some friends, many of them who, for various reasons and for topics not related to the show, but are no longer friends, urged me to start a paranormal group, so I did. And I had my first meeting at Coco's in the Valley, and after starting a meetup group. And I've had many, 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 many members come and go. I'm no longer on meetup at all. And pretty much none of the members that have come and gone are with VIP anymore, actually. I still have the website. I changed it from .com to .org, so I still have to change all the pictures, because it's basically just a website with these images where pictures are supposed to be that aren't there. So when I changed it, I guess you have to change it from .com to .org for the pictures to adjust also. But that's VIP. That's what I had run for many, many years, and that's what I still get the majority of my investigation requests from, especially residential. Golden State Haunts was started originally for my love of Halloween. It started mainly as a Halloween site, just covering different events I would go to on my own. I would just post pictures and, say a little blurb how I felt about, this maze or that maze. And then I started getting invited to these events. I started getting press releases, both for Halloween events and then horror. And I turned Golden State Haunts, since it's a much bigger and focused site than VIP. I turned it into the site where I do all my public investigations. So if there's an event, I'll write a post about it, I'll issue a press release, and that will be on Golden State Haunts. There'll be a calendar, there'll be a sign-up either through Eventbrite or some other thing. So Golden State Haunts is basically my main, I guess, paranormal entity, if you will, since most of the stuff I've been doing has been either media appearances or public events. And now we cover other stuff such as EDM, electronic dance music, and witchcraft, a bunch of other stuff. I'm actually going to be putting a metaphysical store up there. I have some clothing merchandise I'm coming out with. So that's really the only difference between the two. As far as members, I don't actually have any members, so to speak, as like an organized group would.
Mm-hmm.
The main people I investigate with, of course, are Rob Hernandez and then Fidel Di Haro. Those are the two main people I investigate with, but I wouldn't call them, members. And then, of course, Wayne Poe and Jana Breedlove and a few other people will sometimes join on the investigations. But the main thing I'm doing now is the Creepy AF, which is on YouTube under StarcoTube. That's Ace Jordan's production company. It's Starco with a 0 at the end instead of an O.
Mm-hmm.
And the majority of that stuff is Halloween stuff, Halloween walkthroughs, events such as Scare LA and Midsummer Scream, which I know both of you go to, and stuff such as that. I've been trying to convince him to do more paranormal stuff. I've been trying to convince him to do more urban exploration stuff. I actually prefer that over an organized investigation, going to abandoned places. I love urbexing way more than paranormal investigating. I've said this before, and I'm convinced now. I love urbexing more than paranormal. And actually, most of the times I'll have paranormal experiences is when I go into these abandoned places, whether I know that they're haunted or not.
Yeah, definitely. There's just something about going into abandoned places that's always a lot of fun and, very creepy and interesting. So I haven't been to too many abandoned places, but I would definitely love to go to more in the future. So that's definitely super awesome that you get to do that.
Yeah, you'll have to come along with us one day to some of these abandoned places. And not all of them are off limits. There's some you could go to, like Solstice Canyon in Malibu, that's open to the public. There's other places. Runyon Canyon, I believe there used to be an estate there. I mean, there's nothing excited aesthetically. It's not like, oh, wow, this is the mental hospital at Poveglia. There's nothing aesthetically pleasing about it. But I believe there used to be an estate at Runyon Canyon. There's a lot of energy. I don't know if I would call it traditional urbexing because it's a park where it's a very popular park actually, where hundreds of people go a day. But there are some minor ruins there, and that's actually one of the things about Southern California is it's not like Europe or Asia. Or even the Midwest or East Coast, which is really cracked down. But Southern California, there's not that many places to urbex. As soon as something goes abandoned, they either board it up, put barbed wire fences around it, or have security. I mean, all that's left really is Rancho Los Alamitos, but that's like a $400 ticket. George Air Force Base, Boron Federal Prison. I mean, there's still a few places, but it's not as lenient to go into them as the Midwest and East Coast. And, the old saying goes, don't do what I do. It is trespassing. It is a gray area. Sometimes the cops are very nice, and if you tell them, hey, I'm just here to take pictures, they'll be cool with you. If you're not graffitiing, if you're not stealing copper pipes, a lot of times the cops will be cool with you. A lot of times they won't, especially at places like Downey. The one thing I used to not understand is if you're minding your own business and not doing these illegal activities other than trespassing, obviously, why is there such a stigma and why is there that risk of getting a ticket, if not getting arrested? And what I came to learn is that even if a property is abandoned, there's still someone that owns it. And even if you're trespassing, if someone gets injured, that person that owns it is liable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that I've learned is the main thing. You know, you could go to an abandoned place, do something illegal like trespass, break your leg, but that person that owns it could still be the one that winds up getting sued.
And California's big on that. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I know
Europe
we have to
is
take
totally
a quick
different.
commercial.
Okay.
Yeah. I know we have to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back with more questions.
Yeah, it's the Ghost Host Show with Sophia Temperilli on LiveParanormal.com. Today, our guest, Golden State Haunts and Valley Investigators of the Paranormal lead investigator, Erik Vanlier, on the program again today. So everyone, visit goldenstatehaunts.org. That's goldenstatehaunts.org. As well, Valley Investigators of the Paranormal.org. Twitter and Instagram at GSHaunts Events and at SFV_paranormal. At VIP_paranormal, and YouTube search Creepy AF. It's the Ghost Host Show with Sophia Temperilli on LiveParanormal.com. We'll be right back with Erik.
Hi, this is Dustin Perry, the Paranormal Rockstar, and you're listening to The Ghost Host with the most, Sophia Temperilli, only on LiveParanormal.com.
Hey, this is Rick Hayes, the psychic medium, life consultant, author, and lecturer, and you're listening to the Ghost Host, Sophia Temperilli, on LiveParanormal.com. Believe. Thank you for joining us on History FM Radio on LiveParanormal.com and History.fm. From paranormal to the unexplained history, it all happens here. Looking to enhance your radio experience? Participate in live interactive chat 24/7 with our radio show hosts and other like-minded people on www.liveparanormal.com, the only interactive social chat room supported by full interactive media. Stop by now and join in on the fun. This is Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures, and you are listening to the Ghost Host, Sophia Temperilli, on LiveParanormal.com. Congratulations, Sophia Temperilli. Sophia Temperilli, the Ghost Host, celebrating 6 years of broadcasting on LiveParanormal.com. Yeah, it's a late edition of the show. The Ghost Host, Sophia Temperilli, on LiveParanormal.com. And again, we have Golden State Haunts and Valley Investigators of the Paranormal lead investigator, Erik Vanlier. Everyone visit goldenstatehaunts.org and also to Valley Investigators of the Paranormal.org. I'm bringing everybody back into the chat, or back into the show right now. There you go, Sophia, with Erik.
Thank you so much again for coming on today, Erik.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a little while. I'm glad to be back on the show. You know, the show has definitely grown immensely. I mean, you were doing this. How old were you when you So I guess 12, right? And now you have.
Yeah, I was 12.
You've always had an impressive, roster of guests. I mean, I was just listening to that little interlude, and it's like an encyclopedia of the paranormal. Everyone from Lloyd Auerbach to Zach Baggins, giving your show a full.
If you build it, they'll come. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a great time in the paranormal. So yeah, it's been an amazing 7 years. I'm so happy that you were able to come back on.
Yeah, I mean, you've definitely, paid your dues, and you branched out a little bit, doing stuff like, Street Fest, covering Street Fest, and I heard you might be doing that again. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, we try and go every year. Some years we're unable to make it, but yeah, Shriekfest is definitely such an amazing event with so many amazing filmmakers. So it's always great to go and interview people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Denise is a great person. They show a lot of very interesting movies. Speaking of that, I want to turn the table for 1 second because I had just done a post on Instagram the other day about my favorite paranormal movie, and I wanted to ask you, what is yours?
Someone actually on Facebook asked me this the other day. I have a very unconventional answer that most people probably don't expect, but I actually don't watch horror movies.
Yeah, she's scared of, of all things.
Yeah, I really am.
Like Conjuring.
I hate when people... Well, I can't say I'm scared of The Conjuring because I haven't seen it because I don't like being scared. Like, I've never been to Dark Harbor or Not Scary Farm or, any of that.
Right.
Like Casper. Ghostbusters.
So
I've seen... Oh, go ahead.
No, this is a weird. You mentioned that someone had asked you that question. That I just asked on Facebook the other day. This is kind of more metaphysical than paranormal, but it's kind of like a 6th degree Kevin Bacon type of thing. I mean, that's very interesting that you said that someone asked you that because on a psychic level, and I think it goes kind of hand to hand to some extent. My mom will be at her house looking on the internet, and I'll bring something up randomly, like a company or something, and she'll be like, I'm on that website right now. Or we won't have gone out to dinner together for a while, and I'll bring up something, not like a traditional hamburger place like Hamburger Hamlet, which is, a staple in Southern California, or Mel's Diner or something like that, but I'll say, can we go for Thai food? And she'll be like, I was just thinking, let's go for Thai food. So it's interesting, that you just told me that someone asked you the same question.
Yeah, well, someone asked me because I recently posted a picture wearing a Scream dress, and it said, "What's your favorite scary movie?" I don't know what my deal is. I'm really odd, but I have like an extreme interest in horror, but I hate being scared, so I don't know how that really works out. Like, I have a Norman Bates, like, pop Funko in my room, and Carrie and Reagan, and I don't like horror. But I do like horror. Yeah, I'm just really bizarre. Like, I've seen some horror movies, but I saw Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2, and I swear to God I thought something was going to come through my window, and I think that was, like, the last horror movie I saw because I just couldn't deal with it. I'm like, you know what, I'm not cut out for this, but it's really interesting.
I heard that that's based on a real movie. I haven't really researched it. I just heard that's not based on a real movie. That movie's based on real events. I haven't really researched it, but the only thing I could think of that it might be based on is the New Jersey Devil. I'm probably wrong.
Yeah, or a lot of people missing in one town, or right.
Is there anything about the paranormal that scares you?
Not entirely. I mean, living in a haunted house was pretty scary, but as long as it's not in my house, like, I'm good. I just don't want it in my house again. My friend.
I remember that and how crazy that was, and I remember John talking to me about that. That's definitely uncomfortable. My mom's house is definitely haunted. She kind of denies it, although she will admit to hearing footsteps once in a while. But I've had 2 investigations there, and there's been times where I felt uncomfortable there. On the side of the house, the side of my mom's house where she keeps, the city garbage things in LA, and I guess in other cities, they have like these huge garbage bins now, in different colors, blue and green and brown, and near the side of the house where she keeps these things, I was doing a spirit box session once, and it swept through 20, 30 stations, and for like 15, 20 seconds, we got like old 1930s chamber music. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, that's probably the creepiest area of the house. But then there was another time when I was doing a dry EVP session, and for those that don't know, that's gathering electronic voice phenomena without a spirit box. And I got a voice of a man that said, "There's that woman I killed." Now,
oh, wow.
Yeah, my mom is only the second owner of the house, and she said that no one ever died in the house. So I don't know, this is another situation where either something is, messing with me, trying to scare me, or playing games, or something happened on the land, So a lot of the times, that's a good point. A lot of these times you'll go to a location that's, famous for being haunted, and what people don't realize is that it's not the current building that's there right now that's actually haunted. It's what was there, or the land itself. One of the things that I used to do, and that I still love doing, is going to haunted restaurants that used to serve another purpose. Whether it was a bordello like Felipe's, or the Cellar, which were in Fullerton, which used to be the laundry room of the hotel. So I'm not just looking for what something is today, but for what something was in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were on KCAL 9 here in Los Angeles, actually investigating that several years ago.
Yeah, you're speaking of the Cellar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the first places that I actually investigated. I was there with some former members as well. I believe Brian Clune was there, speaking of the Queen Mary. And I was also on My Ghost Story for that. And that, like I've said since day one, I'll take it to the grave. That is where I was attacked by a skeleton arm that came out of a wall.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of, criticism and like, oh, yeah, right. That didn't happen. But what people need to remember is that there's a lot of tunnels in Fullerton, under Plummer Auditorium, under the police station, the Cellar itself. Most of them are sealed off. I believe you could still get to a small part of it through Plummer Auditorium and possibly the police department. But not only was Fullerton an old west town, but these tunnels, were used for prostitution, gambling, transporting gold, and probably, by the coroner. And I wouldn't be surprised, although there's been excavations, and it's been sealed off, and this was a psychic impression I got when that incident happened, is that, I'm not saying there's skeletons in there, but I'm sure there's bone fragments left in there. And, I've had crazy stuff happen, so this shouldn't be any surprise to anyone. As you both know, I've been raped by the demon Lilith at Hotel Garden Grove, and I've even, had spirit box communications in the Antelope Valley with the Anunnaki and reptilians, So I think getting attacked by a skeleton arm should be the least of what people are skeptical about.
Jeez. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, we don't do. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I know earlier in the show that you had mentioned doing investigations with Rob Hernandez, and I just was curious, how you two met, and I know you also have investigated the David Omen house with him. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened there?
Yes, well, I actually met Rob through Meetup. He was one of the people that I got an email from my Meetup group from, and he became a member of Meetup, and he stayed with the group when the group became private as well. So I've known him for a long time. As far as David Omen House, I've definitely had some crazy experiences there. That's another place with a lot of controversy. There's one party that will say it's one of the most haunted places there is, and there's others that will say, that the place isn't haunted. I've had everything happen there, from getting an EVP after I asked, "What's your name?" and a voice saying Abigail. Of course, Abigail Folger was one of the people that was murdered. Yeah. To seeing an apparition of just legs in another crawl space. And a friend of mine, Amber, the first time she was there, she saw the same thing. There was just legs in this crawl space. But to me, one of the most interesting things that happened there was, for the first time, he had rented out the house next door. If you're facing his house, it's the house to the right, closer to the Manson house. And I'll get back to this in 1 second. The house that creeps me out the most, though, neither of those houses really creep me out. The house that does creep me out is the house to the left of David Omen's house, facing his house, going back down towards the hill. That house creeps me out. But he had rented out the house closest to the Manson house for the first time, and they were doing a seance with Lydia, and everybody was in a circle. And, a lot of people were very, very uncomfortable in this house that he rented. Some of them actually had to leave. I was tired. I didn't really feel anything. I was actually relaxed. But then again, I do extreme haunts. So this, the haunted houses, where you sign waivers, not paranormal, but extreme haunts. So and the stuff that's happening to paranormal, I'm used to pretty much everything. But I didn't feel uncomfortable. I actually felt comfortable, and I was dozing off. And, Lydia was leading the session, asking people questions, and they were bringing up the names of their grandparents or their moms or people that had crossed over. And as I'm dozing off, I say this name. I think it just pops into my head. I think the name was Frank or Fred or something. Now, none of the people that were murdered or that were part of, this Manson clan that I know of were named Fred or Frank. I may be wrong, but so I'm dozing off, and I don't know, maybe 5-10 minutes later, I snap out of it. It's like when you're at school and you're at your desk and you're half asleep and you're half not. So I snap out of it. I come awake, and everyone's going, "Didn't you say Frank or Fred?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why?" And they're all like, "Well, the spirit box keeps saying that." So to me, even with seeing this legless thing, and all these other things I got, the vortex room near the laundry room, that was probably one of the more interesting things to me, because I don't know, like I said, what Fred or Frank has to do with the property or the murders, and no one there knew anyone close or anyone that had died named Fred or Frank. And like I remember, he was one of those names. I can't remember exactly. But this is another situation like at my mom's house where it said, there's that woman I killed, and it just doesn't make sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Frank Stallone was there last week.
So maybe this was maybe they were looking forward to him coming for a few years. They knew he was coming. And sorry, Sly. They were looking forward to your brother more.
Yeah, it's definitely a very interesting location, but I know we're coming towards the end of the show. Are there any websites or upcoming interviews or events that you would like to mention?
We don't have anything as far as investigations coming up right now. I definitely know. It's already April. I think I even told John this at Queen Mary back in January that I wanted to do more public events this year. I've just been so busy, but I really got to crack down on that. That is something that I want to do. And, I'm not in it for the money like a lot of these other people are. I don't make money off my public investigations. It's to cover the venue, because what people don't understand is that there are places that will charge you. So I don't make money off of it. I think the most I've made, and it was just because it was a dinner investigation, was a couple $100, and that was just because at the last minute, the owner of the location I knew, who was a friend of mine, cut me a huge deal, and that was for my launch party. Some of the bands I hired gave me a deal at the last minute. That's just because they were being friends. But other than that, I don't make money on it. So I just want to get that stigma out of the way. But I am planning on holding more public investigations in the future, and you can find that on goldenstatehaunts.org. And also, I'm the host for Creepy AF, director, producer, writer Ace Jordan's YouTube channel. That, once again, is on StarkoTube. Starko, it's not an O, it's a 0, so it's Stark 0 Tube. And the next thing we have planned is Midsummer Scream, which is the big Halloween horror convention out here. Midsummer Halloween everything convention, booths, haunted houses, and all that. So we're going to be covering that. And in the meantime, I'm going to keep trying to convince him to do more paranormal and urban exploration videos. But we do have a great video up on the channel now from Black Star Canyon in Orange County. And one of the people actually that commented on it said that that episode of Black Star reminded them of an episode of Ghost Adventures. So I think we're definitely, on the right path.
Well, Eric, thanks so much for coming on today.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah, it was great, and we'll have to investigate soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
I would love to.
Anytime you have anything to promote.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the show's open to you.
All right, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to try to get some stuff cracking here. It's easy to talk. It's always easy to talk, but putting words into action, is where the integrity is. And I think, a lot of people see that I do all this dark stuff and everything, but as you guys know, since day one, I've always had integrity in the paranormal. And, people see all this witchcraft and satanic stuff, and whatever, but you guys know who I really am. And,
yeah,
I thank you for that. We've been friends since day one. So I want to thank you, and I want to, once again congratulate Sophia. I think she's going to have her own paranormal TV show one day that's going to be bigger than Ghost Adventures.
Wow, thanks, Eric.
Well,
definitely.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Let's meet
Eric.
up soon.
All right, talk to you guys later. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Eric. Great show today, Sophia. Great show, Sophia.
Yeah, definitely. Eric was a great guest, and I want to thank you all for listening today. The show definitely would not be possible without all of you. I'll talk to you guys again next week. Bye.
Yeah, it's the Ghost Host Show with Sophia Temperilli on liveparanormal.com. And coming up next Saturday, we have feature actor and paranormal investigator Rick McCallum. So that's going to be on the 5th. It's and also, too, again, for Erik Vanlier, goldenstatehaunts.org. That's goldenstatehaunts.org. And we'll see you all next week.
Hi, this is Debbie at Xeon Ghost Adventures. You're listening to The Ghost Host with your host, Sophia Temperilli, on liveparanormal.com.
God bless you all.